your public bids. The Zumba one is canceled, so we're gonna have public bidding on the paddle boats. And I'm gonna turn this over to our attorney, Greg Cannon. I'm gonna step off the dais and hang out with my camera for a while.
Are you bidding on the paddleboards?
Thank you, Mayor. Give me just a second. Make sure I have the rules proper. I want to read them.
Hold it up to your mouth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, thank you. Okay, the borough will now hold a public bidding by auction for a paddleboard concession at the L Street Beach. The area to be leased is a portion of L Street Beach for use for stand-up paddleboard lessons, subject to the terms and conditions of the lease, which is on file and available for inspection at the municipal clerk's office. The public notice to bid instructed potential bidders to inspect the lease prior to bidding. The lease shall be awarded to the highest bidder by open public bidding at auction tonight. The minimum acceptable bid is hereby fixed as $2,000. That's the opening bid. A bid deposit of $250 must be submitted no later than prior to the beginning of the public auction tonight. You had to be eligible to bid tonight, you had to submit that deposit before tonight's meeting. The deposit will be a credit toward the lease rent in favor of the successful bidder. The term of the lease is from May 1st, 2017 through September 30th, 2017, and is subject to the terms and conditions of the lease. All those wishing to bid, please come forward and state your name, address, and business name for the record, and give the clerk your bid bond, if you have not done so already.
Bill Medler, 809 Main Street, Belmar, and the Sun Company. And I'm going to
Thank you.
Sean McGrath, Summertime Surf and Paddle, 404 Ocean Avenue, and I've also supported that.
Thank you, sir.
And this is my partner Gil Olson.
Okay. So, as I mentioned, we'll start the bidding at $2,000, and increased bids must be at a minimum of $100 increments above the prior bid. So that being said, we'll start the auction, and the starting bid is $2,000. Do either of you wish to bid $2,000? We have a bid of $2,000. Do I hear $2,100? $2,100. Bid is currently at $2,100. Do we have $2,200? We have $2,200. We have $2,300. We're at $2,300, $2,400. We're at $2,400. Do we have higher than $2,400?
2,600.
We have a bid of $2,600.
3,000.
We have a bid of $3,000. $3,000 is the bid.
3,100.
We're at $3,100. $3,100.
3,200.
We have a bid of $3,200. $3,200.
33.
A bid of $3,300. $3,300.
3,500.
We have $3,500. $3,500 is the bid. $3,500. Minimum bid to go over and above that is $3,600. We have $3,500.
36.
We have $3,600. $3,600 is the bid.
We'll go to 4,000.
A bid of $4,000. Bid is now at $4,000. Do I hear 4,100? Going once.
Losing money on $4,100. 41.
4,100. $4,100 is the current bid.
4,200.
$4,200 is the current bid. Next increment would be $4,300. I currently have $4,200. Going once. Going twice.
Full, yeah, full.
4,300.
43.
I have 4,300. $4,300.
4,500.
4,500. $4,500. $4,500 is the bid. Do I hear 4,600 to continue?
46.
$4,600. $4,600 is the bid.
47.
$4,700. I have $4,700. $4,700 is the bid. Do I hear $4,800? $4,800.
48.
$4,800. I have $4,800. $4,800.
5,000.
$5,000. I have a bid of $5,000. Do I hear $5,100?
Yes.
$5,100 is the bid.
5,200.
$5,200 is the bid. Current bid is $5,200. Do I hear $5,300? $5,300. $5,200 is the bid going once, going twice. $5,200 is the bid, correct?
Yes.
$5,200, winning bid. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Please see the clerk to sign the appropriate paperwork.
All right, next item on our agenda is our workshop discussion. This is on a potential ordinance that would reduce plastic bags in the borough of Belmar. Councilman Brennan, this is your
Yes, it is.
suggestion. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, one of the issues I noticed when I was working at the beach during the summer and other parts of town, other times of the year, one of the biggest litter issues, really, besides cigarette butts, our biggest litter issue is plastic bags. They end up on the beach, they end up under the boardwalk, particularly, they end up under the boardwalk. And as an environmentalist, I just feel that, you know, there's got to be a way. There are other large, we can start to see it, there's large big box stores that will actually give you, that encourage the customers. A lot of supermarkets shop right, I know where we shop. Costco in particular won't give you a bag. They'll give you a cardboard box, but you're better off bringing your own bags in. There are a lot of places that are encouraging people to reuse bags themselves. And I think the model ordinance that we found in the borough of Longport in Jersey, they have an ordinance that I'd like to see if we could tailor to our own needs. Allows the merchant to keep a small fee for a bag if a customer wants one, and doesn't allow them to charge if the customer brings their own bag. In particular, I think it's important to have it for businesses along Ocean Avenue. Like I said, you know, the wind is primarily, most of the year, is blowing out of the west. Anything that gets dropped on Main Street, sooner or later ends up down at the ocean. And if there's a way we could reduce this, I think it'd be a big help for us environmentally. And, you know, litter looks terrible, so you don't want to have it hanging around.
Any other
Tom?
council?
Tom, you say that you're gonna charge 10 cents a plastic bag. Who gets the 10 cents?
The merchant keeps it.
The merchant keeps it. I mean, I agree with it. I know plastic is a problem, especially down the beach when it gets into the water. And I agree with it, but enforcement, how do we plan on enforcing this for someone that, you know, they packed their lunch at home and came down to the beach with a plastic bag? Is there any other ways to?
Well, I mean, if someone's got their own bag and they bring it home, this is really only to encourage merchants. You know, I would hope that the merchants would think it in their own best interest to let their customers know that they could save they could save a couple of pennies by bringing their own bags. I mean, if the merchant wants to try to keep the money, that's between him and his customer. what we're really looking to do is to reduce the number of bags that are coming out of commercial establishments in town. I mean, we're not looking to hit somebody up who brings their lunch from home in their own bag already. Technically, that's their bag, so as long as they throw the garbage out and don't leave it on the beach or wherever, then we won't have a problem with it. At least I don't.
You're an environment, how long does it take a plastic bag to break down?
A regular old store-bought plastic bag,
Yeah,
hundreds of years.
hundreds of years, right? So the plastic bag we had last year is still around for a bit.
Oh, yeah, landfill's full of bags. You know, they just, anybody who tries to tell you they have a biodegradable plastic bag is just really not telling you the truth. There's no such thing. They might break down a little faster than some other bags, but it'll still take hundreds of years to really be gone, to really be all completely broken down and passed back into the ecosystem as any kind of nutrient that would be usable.
I mean, I agree with it. Again, what if a store along the ocean front doesn't want to charge the person 10 cents and wants to keep going with the plastic bag? How does this ordinance, does it penalize them or in any way?
Well, that's something we would have to take a look at. I mean, you know, one of the things is I haven't really, I asked the people in Longport for this copy of their ordinance months ago. And I guess the thing that would make sense would be for me to get back in touch with them and see how they're doing with it. They've had it for a couple of years already.
Yeah.
So I would like to see. I mean, I suppose if the merchant doesn't want to, you know, charge the extra money for the bag, I mean, I kind of assumed that the merchant would definitely be like, okay, I'll make some extra money, but they don't. Well, you know what,
Yeah, is it voluntary from the, well, I guess I'm asking you, you're about to say you'll look into this, but is it voluntary, in Longport, is it voluntary on the store's behalf?
No.
It's
It
not.
doesn't look like this, not according to this ordinance, they're not.
Well, I guess that's a good question. What would be the enforcement against a business that didn't charge people 10 cents?
Right, how would you find out that they're not?
How would you find out that,
Right, that's the main thing.
that they're not?
Right, how would you find out? I know, you wanted to like do some detective work, go in and buy something and then send somebody else in and buy the same thing, and one guy brings the bag and the other guy doesn't. See what happens. They get the same bill, the person's not following the orders. You know, let me get in touch with them and see how they're working out with that.
I mean, one of the things that I was looking at that I would consider is like probably 99% of the plastic bags that are coming into our town are from the grocery stores which we really don't have.
Right.
I mean, looking at this ordinance and looking at how I use plastic bags and how my wife brings it in the house, I mean, at least 99% come from out of town. I mean, I think we should be looking at more recycling and then sort of putting a burden on some of our businesses in our town. I mean, you know, really push more of a recycling effort, even on the beach or wherever we think the bags are problems. I know we recycle them, you know, they go out on Wednesdays with recycling, so. But I don't think it'd be a great idea to put this burden on the businesses that are already struggling for the winter months, but, you know, I do appreciate, looking at the environment and watching them go to the ocean, because that is a serious problem, they blow in the ocean for a lot of different reasons. But, you know, to have an ordinance that puts more burden on our businesses that are really, I mean, we had a couple of big supermarkets in town, and we were really generating a lot of bags in our town, but putting an ordinance like this to more burden our businesses, I really don't think that it's gonna help or have a solution to the problem.
According to the enforcement of this, you can penalize, you can fine the business, $150 for the first violation,
Right.
$500 for any subsequent violation.
My question to Longport would be, have they actually imposed any of those fines?
Right.
That's the first thing, you know, and if the answer is yes, it would be how to come up with that, how were you able to determine that which was a violation? And you know, to speak to Councilman Walsifer's concerns, I mean, this is really, I understand what you're saying. We don't have a big supermarket that's giving out hundreds and hundreds of bags every day. We don't have that. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try to do what we can with some of our merchants in particular. I mean, there are, I don't want to say any names, but I know that one merchant in particular that's right by the ocean had a problem. They're very popular, and then one of the first things that I heard was that there was a lot of garbage coming up outside their store because they were handing out a lot of materials. If you're buying food and they're giving it to you in a styrofoam container, which is already non-recyclable, I mean, why are you getting in a bag too? Or if you want a bag, bring your own bag. If you know you're gonna go to that merchant, you can do something like that. I mean, I know a lot of people, maybe it's just the crowd I hang with, but everybody keeps bags in their cars for when they're gonna go to the store so they don't have to get more plastic bags.
What kind of people do you hang with?
Green people.
Councilwoman Nicolay, would you like to offer a few comments on this?
Yeah, I was just gonna touch on the last part. I was just gonna touch on the last part that, this is a nice idea, but maybe we can just do a town-wide campaign of bring bags to local stores when you go to shop. I do keep bags in my car, sometimes I do forget them, unfortunately, but I do like that Costco does that. But maybe we can send out, put it on our website or send something out, we create more paper to send out, defeating the purpose, but maybe do some type of campaign within the town about try not to leave stores with plastic bags, bring your own. So, I think we were all reminded years and years ago, it kind of drifted away. I feel like there was a big push years ago for this, but maybe with Belmar we can remind everybody.
Okay. So, where do we want to leave this right now, Councilman Brennan?
You know, I'll get in touch with law court and see about the enforcement question. One of the things I noticed by reading their ordinance is that the merchants are required in the ordinance to post signs about the ordinance in their establishments, you know, stating that you were, if you get one of these bags, we're gonna charge you this, but you're entitled to use your own bag for free. That would be, obviously, that would be one way to see if there's, if you were gonna do enforcement, you just go in and check and see if they have their sign posted. And I'll just see, you know, I would ask two questions. One, as I said, you know, have you had to impose any fines? And then I'd actually, the question, the most important question is, have you seen a reduction in litter, in plastic bag litter in particular, down in your town? Has it made a difference? You know, if they say it's no difference, well then, what about it? But if they say it's made a big difference, then I would be interested in pursuing it.
Plastic bags aren't your normal recycling plastic, right? You know,
No, unfortunately, yeah.
Regular plastic bottles are recyclable, but the plastic bags are considered trash.
Plastic bags actually against our ordinance to recycle on Wednesdays when you do your recycling, because even the landfills can't do anything with them.
Right.
You're not supposed to put your recycling in a plastic bag. Some people put them out in black bags, white, clear bags. It's against the ordinance, to be quite honest.
So when you put recycling out, you can put your cardboard out, newspapers, right? You can take newspapers, put it inside a cardboard box,
Correct.
and put that inside your recycling garbage
Or you
can.
use a trash.
You can't put it in a white,
Can't put it in plastic bags.
you can't put it in a white plastic bag.
Yes, we do have stickers at DPW that say one trash, one recycling. Residents are allowed to stop by and pick them up, so if you just want to use a garbage can, mark it recycling will pick that up also. But actually, according to our ordinance, Mr. Brennan's right, these don't go away, and you're not supposed to be using plastic bags.
So if you're collecting them in your home in a garbage can, you would just take it and dump it.
It's just trash, it's not recyclable.
You can throw it in the trash, but again, the best part is to stop it from coming in. And Mr. Walsifer is right, they are coming from mostly food stores, but Tom's also right, you have to start where you can start. So again, the trash bags are a big problem with us at DPW.
So when you pick up recycling that is in a big garbage bag, do you empty it out? Is that what you do?
That's what they're doing at the landfill, but they also charge us with an extra charge for that, so it's not clean. So they charge us more.
I don't think people know that.
I don't think they do either.
I think a lot of people have a garbage can and recycling in their like kitchen. And the recycling has a trash bag, and they put it in the trash bag, and they close it up, and they
Well, the other
put it
problem
out, and they
is,
think
they also
they're
use the
recycling.
ones from the shopping for cleaning up after their dog, which now isn't gonna go away and has a present in it.
They don't put that in.
Guilty.
You'd be surprised. And
You
again,
cannot recycle that.
we do offer around our lakes by the library, we do offer mids that are recyclable, and they do, yeah, they're biodegradable, and they do go away. So again, there's just a lot of things with plastic. This is just a scratching the surface, but it is a problem. And there's going to be, at the last meeting with the DPW with recycling, they're gonna start charging us for this, the county. So. it is a
Stuff
problem.
going over in those bags that have to be.
Yeah, they're tired of it from, they're not blaming Belmar by any means, they're
Never.
saying it's a countywide problem. These plastic bags.
Well, I
So we're
think
gonna
I
end up
can
costing-
speak for all 5 members of the governing body. I didn't know that.
For 4, I do.
Wait, so that means like if you put, is this just for recycling or is this for trash too? They're gonna charge us?
No, recycling.
Just recycling?
They're charging us, it's gonna start with recycling.
They're
But
gonna
they're also
start.
looking us to charge us, the new trend now is gonna start charging us for glass bottles, which is gonna be a problem. And they wanna start charging us for plastic bags. Anything in the waste. If you put it in the waste, they can't always separate it because they don't have the manpower. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna charge us a mixed load, and instead of paying X amount, you're gonna pay X plus Y. And they're gonna say it's a mixed load because you have X amount of plastic here, we can see it. When you dump it, they look at it, and they say, we're charging you this. And they do it all the time with us. That's why we don't take construction material and things like that, because if it goes in a truck, you have to pay a higher load for the whole truck. People think we just don't wanna take it, but it actually is saving taxpayers money.
Why would they charge on glass bottles? We're not supposed to recycle?
Well, glass bottles are starting to be a problem for recycling. I guess they have an overflow of what they can do with them. So now they're,
So are you saying that it's an issue of the glass bottles in the recycling, or it's an issue of the glass bottles in the garbage, and it's considered?
glass
mixed?
bottles in period. Like we have a recycling bin for trash, or for glass bottles at the recycling. Right now, they are not charging us to pick them up. When they go take it away, it's an even push. We don't pay for it, they don't give us any money.
So commingling doesn't cost us anything at this point, but they're gonna start charging us.
They're gonna start charging us even just for the glass. It was just brought up in the December meeting. That was the Merry Christmas. And I don't know when it's gonna start, but they said it's coming. They told us this a year ago about the electronic waste. And the electronic waste, which we were making money on, TVs and things like that, we're now paying $500 a load, and we're taking 1 to 2 loads a month. So they've already started charging us for things that they're having trouble getting rid of. They said next on the list is plastic, after that's coming glass bottles.
That's the problem with recycling in general, people don't realize. We used to be able to make a little money recycling.
Right.
Now there's no money, you pay to recycle.
There is no,
Nobody's making money.
we have to pay to have it all sorted out now. But we don't pay dumping.
So we should move from bottles to kegs, is what you're saying?
Now you're thinking,
One last thing.
Reuse those things.
What is also costing us money are these non-flushable wipes that go into our toilets that, are they costing us money there, Mike?
they're costing you an amazing amount of money by sending out the water department on things that are just, can be prevented. Our water department has to go out. When one of my water guys go out after hours, I have to pay them a 3-hour minimum. But no matter how long it takes them to do it, they go out, they try and help the homeowner by doing a curbside clean out for them and getting it gone. But there are houses that use it over and over and over, and it's always the same thing. Those things cake up like cement, and they use them.
How much is it costing us about, do you think?
I'd have to look at it, boss.
A lot of money each
A lot
month?
of money.
Every month or once in a
Well,
while?
it's not just the guys going out to clean it out, we also have to flush all the, that's why we're flushing so much lately, we're getting all these out. I'll give you a perfect example, down by Inlet Terrace, on the east side of the turnaround, we have only about 11 or 12 houses there, and we have a pump station right there, just for that area, because it's down low, so we have to lift it. We were changing our motor 3 to 4 times a year, which is about $3,000 a pop plus labor. And we found out from the plumber that it was all the flushable wipes. We put out postings on the 11 houses and asked them all to stop, and we have now gone 1.5 years without changing it since we put up the flyer. We have the same motor for 1.5 years.
Yeah, I think the public doesn't realize how much money it's costing us when you buy
Those
those.
flushable wipes cost you also, because you may find out you have to call a plumber once or twice a year to clean out your lines, and you should not be doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So-
Flushable wipes are not flushable.
And also, I mean,
Stop
our sanitary sewer is ancient.
Yes,
I mean, we have parts of it that it's very old, so.
Julius Caesar put part of it.
So if we can get people to stop doing that and not using plastic.
But it also helps them, not just the town.
Well, she's not here, but this is something we should talk with Colleen about, and sort of steal a little bit of Councilman Nicolai's idea and actually communicating, maybe in a very straightforward, simple flyer, some of the points we discussed tonight, even though we're discussing an ordinance on recycling plastic bags. You know, those few points, I think, are
Information.
pertinent. And I think people, if they know, I think people will
Right.
comply. Will
Most
work with
people
this. I don't think people,
Obviously, the people, the tourists, they complied and it worked out, right?
We're great.
there's good people on Inland Terrace, Brian.
Do you know any?
No. It's just-
Specifically, I should find out his address.
All right, so,
right.
I'll talk with Colleen about, doing something on that
I'll get in
sooner,
touch with him.
sooner rather than
Find
later.
out, find out how it's going.
All right, any other topics for workshop from the council? No? All right. Next, petitions. Any petitions for the mayor and council? I don't see any. Next, approval of the minutes, and one question, I'm gonna quiz our attorney on here. So, approval of the minutes, what we have is December 28th, 2016.
That's correct, Mayor.
I was not here for that meeting. Councilman Walser was not here for that meeting. You were not here. After Christmas?
That was the morning, the 10 a.m. morning meeting.
So we only have 2 out of the 5 members of the council that were here for that meeting. If I wasn't here, and neither were Councilman Walser or Councilman Nicolay, would we have to abstain from approving those minutes?
That's correct, Mayor. Also, if I may ask this question, because I do not recall, last time, do you carry that meeting over and then adjourn it at the reorganization? Or did that end up December 28th?
It ended on the 28th.
Okay, so meaning that only 2 members of council that are present currently were at that meeting? Will then be a majority of them approving the minutes?
Even though they don't meet a quorum?
It would be, it's basically a majority of the members present, not necessarily a quorum of the governing body necessary to approve the minutes. So a quorum of the members present at
Majority
that
of
meeting
the,
would be 2.
majority of the
It has to
members
be a majority.
present at the meeting.
Right, otherwise there's no other way to handle it, and we wouldn't have minutes.
Gotcha, okay. All right, so yeah, so, I'll
I
entertain
can
that.
go with December 28th first and then go with the, okay, I move that the minutes of the meeting held on December 28th, 2016 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Abstain.
Mayor Doherty?
Abstain?
Councilman Walsifer?
Abstain.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
It was a tie.
Yeah.
Now, I move that the minutes of the meeting held on January 3rd, 2017 be approved as recorded and that a copy thereof be posted on the borough's website.
Second?
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Next are reports of council. Council President McGovern, would you like to kick us off with the reports?
Sure. This Saturday night at the Waterview, we have the Fire Chief's Dinner, and we're going to, big thank you to outgoing Police Chief Brad Child.
Fire chief.
What did I say, Police Chief? Ooh, glad Drew's not here.
It'd be a lot more police chief than fire chief.
Just to bring up, Chief Heisman's son just won the Monmouth County Championships in the shot put. Historical Society meeting I went to last week. They're a little concerned about the Doughboy statue vandalism. Someone broke off the rifle and someone knocked the Doughboy statue off the base a bit. It's kind of unstable. And the Historical Society is very concerned that what's to stop anybody else from vandalizing it and topping that statue over. It's of a historic value. They did look into it, and there's about 45 to 50 of these statues throughout the country, and it turns out that they've all been vandalized. A couple of years ago, Fairhaven, that has a similar statue, came and took a mold of our soldier's hand with the grenade because someone vandalized their statue, broke off their hand. We're looking in to see if we can get another statue, take a mold of the rifle, and get that back on the Doughboy statue. But the thing is, at some point during the summer, someone vandalized it, almost knocked it off.
Do they, when that was originally put in there, if you look at the pictures, right, Route 35 was a 2-lane road, and,
Right.
you know, it was right by the old municipal building.
Right, which
And
was
it
the
it was a
American
lot
Legion
different-
building.
A lot different location. Today, that location, particularly at night, right,
It's hard to secure.
it's
Right.
pretty, right? Yeah, it's pretty dark.
Are there lights on that thing at night?
Are there, I don't think there are lights on it.
They were thinking of having some type of motion lights that go on if there's motion and all of a sudden come on and, in other words, they wanted a camera. I don't think a camera would do us any good. But will be best if someone doesn't vandalize it. But how do we stop someone from vandalizing an historic statue that we have right there that's, like you say, in an inconspicuous spot that no one would see that?
Motion sprinklers on.
Good one.
Right. Like they go out there, they start moving around, all of a sudden they're soaking wet, they're not gonna leave.
So, they would like our new engineer to take a look at it, see how to stabilize it,
No doubt.
look into someone that could come. It's too big a project, and we don't want our DPW guys doing it, because if something goes wrong, it slips and it falls down, then that's a big loss, big time loss.
They think it happened over the summer?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
And there's some,
Most likely.
We've known about it for a while.
yeah. So, I mean, that just came up at the last meeting, see what we can do about it, see if they have some money that they would like to get it, the rifle remolded from another statue. Fairhaven has one, but they can't find the guy that did the mold, so, yeah, so it's one of those things. Next, the Historical Society is on Monday, February 13th, is having a show and tell. This is where, in the community room, this is where people from town that have some type of Belmar historic, something of historic value, come and they talk about it, just like you did in school. And it really, really is interesting. If you want to come down and see what some of these people have found in their attic, in their basement, in the back of the closet or something like that, and they can come and talk to you. On January 1st, I was talking to Mr. Brand, Donnie Brand, who used to be the chief of the fire department, and his grandfather lived in what is now Lake Como, when it was still Wall Township. And I mean, if we can get him to come to that show and tell, he's got some great artifacts about Belmar's history, when we were like Wall Township, you know. So you can do that. That's February 13th, 7 p.m. in the community room. Also, if you look at the display out here, there's a display on the Hewlett family. Spence Hewlett, who lives over here on 5th Avenue still, he's also the president of the Historical Society. It's his family tree, and it goes back six generations of the Hewlett family. And his great-great-grandfather was one of the original people that formed the Ocean Beach town, you know, as we see it from Wall Township. So, you know, just take a look at that. It's very, very, very interesting. And as I said, Spence Hewlett still lives over here on 5th Avenue. Some of you might have noticed that in the CoStar, the Belmar section a couple weeks ago was a photo of the Belmar Women's Club reorganization. Some of you might have been surprised to see Rita Lane's photo there. Rita Lane died over a year ago. So probably very upsetting to her two daughters to see their mom's picture in the co-star. But probably in today's day, it's probably just co-star as an example of fake news. But no, Rita Lane is not there. She has died, and it was a wrong photograph. That's basically my report.
Thank you. Councilman Walson.
I don't have much, Mayor. We haven't had a Harbor Commission meeting yet. They canceled the January meeting, so we have one coming up in February, and we haven't had a finance meeting yet. But one thing I would like to thank our new borough attorney, Greg, for taking the time and going in-depth with me with the pay play ordinance. I really do appreciate that. So that's my report.
Thank you. Councilman Rivera.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Environmental Commission had a meeting last Thursday. Couple of things. One of the things, we're going to make a really strong effort, and I want to thank the mayor for finding the information. We need to regain our Sustainable New Jersey certification. We're actually still listed on their list, so we get all their notifications and we're able to attend their events. But we don't have our certification lapsed. A lot of it is because of Sandy. It's the kind of thing you have to keep going.
What does that make us eligible for? I remember doing it in the past, and
Well, it definitely makes us eligible for certain grants that
For
we're not
grants,
eligible
right?
for. Yeah, like one of the things we're talking about planting plants at the beach. If we had our certification, we would be able to apply for a grant for that, part of that money. Other things, and it's a point system. And it's not just environmental. That's one of the things that's really interesting, and I have to keep reminding myself. Sustainability is a very broad term. It's not just, you don't pollute things or you clean up after yourself. It also has to do with how sustainable is your community. One of the things we would get points for on a reapplication, and we couldn't have gotten them on our original application, was the communications. Our code red and our code blue, those are worth points on a Sustainable New Jersey application for certification. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, how well does the community share information? How does the governing body communicate with people in the community? Other things, I mean, we would definitely, some of the things we're doing with our redevelopment would definitely give us points. Things like working on your stormwater management plan, things like that. We could, here's the ironic thing, since we can't get money from them, if we're planting the plantings along the beach, that would get us points as well. So a lot of it is finding the original application. Part of the problem is when you apply, you have to do it online. They've been doing this all along. As far as we know, the entire application is done electronically, and you never get a paper copy back, which is stupid to me, quite frankly. I mean, how are you supposed to go back and check what you got? So we're trying to pin that down. We're getting in touch with Tom Latza, who did most of the work. He did the real heavy lifting on the original application, which is more than 10 years ago now. And we're going to see what we can do. We definitely want to get the ball rolling on that. We haven't established a timeline, but I would like to see it happening before the end of the summer. I think that's about how long it's going to take. It's that much work. It's gathering that much information. The other thing that the Environmental Commission is doing is going to social media. Many people might remember the Eco Watch, which was a printed item that would come out with the water bills, and it contained information like trash pickup schedules, recycling information, this thing. A lot of what was given out at this past Saturday's town hall, a lot of those handouts. One of the things you do with a page like this is you post up information, and I'm walking out of here with a whole bunch of stuff. Don't put your recycling in plastic bags. That's going to be something you can put it right up there, and then when you post it to the page, anyone who has liked the page can share it with any of their friends, and hopefully I mean, we haven't really done anything except establish the page, and as far as social media goes, that's like the bare minimum, and we've already got like 30 likes, and we haven't done anything yet. So once we start posting this information, I think we'll start to generate more likes and become a more effective way to communicate some of these things. We're not gonna eliminate the paper, but it would definitely be cheaper to do, a two-sided 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with just some information, rather than the big printing production that it used to be. That was becoming very costly. It's one of the reasons the Environmental Commission stopped doing it, was the cost. So we're looking to see how that goes. I mean, one of the things we'll find out right away, with social media is you do something, if it's effective, you know right away by the numbers that change as soon as you check it. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicolay.
Yeah, I don't have much either. Always want to remind people to try to get over to the Belmar Arts Center. They've always got events and shows taking place. They've got some great classes. Tonight was starting introductory to digital photography. Also, I know the holidays are over, but buy local, and BYOB, bring your own bag.
Plastic.
I'm like that.
Plastic.
BYOB, not non-plastic. But yeah, even with the holidays over, just try to, we see the restaurants. We went to 3 different restaurants Saturday night, and they had a wait at all of them, which is a great thing. But don't forget about the salons and the shops and the gyms and things like that.
Thank you.
Did you forget to talk about Girl Scout?
Oh, and my daughter is selling Girl Scout cookies.
There you go.
It's the most important thing you'll leave with.
Thank you. So we had a really outstanding town hall meeting on Saturday. It was our first one that we tried like that. And we're gonna look to do it at other timely opportunities. So right now, probably guessing maybe before the summer starts, when I think we'll have, information that's topical, and then maybe sometime in the fall. So try to do an event like that possibly 3 times a year. It worked out great at the school. I spoke for a long time, so I'm going to keep my remarks today very brief and short. The only thing I do want to mention is people may remember that last year we moved the Seafood Festival from June into May. And this year we applied the Seafood Festival to the same weekend. But it turns out that the Sunday of Seafood Festival is actually Mother's Day.
Ooh.
And since I don't want to be that mayor who tells people that they can't park their cars to visit their mother on Mother's Day, we're going to move that back 1 more week. So it'll still be before Memorial Day. Maybe we'll catch better weather a week later. But you may see our calendars and everything right now has a Seafood Festival for the 13th and 14th. That's going to get pushed back a week to the 20th and 21st. So that's all I got to report on. Again, I ran my mouth enough on Saturday. So that's all for that's all for reports of the council. Next is the resolution calendar and public session. So I'm going to open this up for public session. If anyone has any comments, questions on the resolution calendar, please raise your name when you be called. Come to the microphone, name, address for the record, and what you'd like to say or not, or question about the resolution calendar. Seeing no hands, I'll make a motion to close the public session for the resolution calendar.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. For next resolution, I will step off and turn the dais over to Council President McGovern.
Thank you very much. like to call for the resolution authorizing payment of bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
Next is our consent agenda. I will offer the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Just one question on the fees. Are they set somewhere else, Mayor? On the fees that are gonna be set by mayor and council?
That's actually
In
the
the
second.
Oh, it's second ordinance, okay. Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Mean we're actually gonna fix Railroad Avenue? That was so much fun to drive up and down, and especially when it rains, it gets splashed. That's gonna get fixed. Oh my goodness.
About time.
Double yes.
Next are our ordinances. These are all first reading introductions, so there's no public hearing on the ordinances. First ordinance, 2017-01, ordinance of the Borough of Belmar deleting Article 2, cats, of the revised general ordinances. This is freeing cats of licenses.
I'll second that because I'm a proud cat owner now.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Say me out, Ron. Say me out.
Yes.
Next is ordinance 2017-02, ordinance of the Borough of Belmar amending fees in various chapters of the revised general ordinances. For first reading introduction, after we have a second, we can discuss. So I'll offer for first reading introduction.
Second.
All right. So what this does is, and what we're going to try to do, we've noticed in a lot of our ordinances, we have set fees, but to ever adjust those fees up or down, you need to do another whole ordinance. This way, we'll have ordinances start pointing towards resolutions. So if, for ever, any reason this council or future councils want to change it, it's simply a resolution as opposed to a first reading, second reading, 20-day period. It just goes into effect immediately.
I mean, is this for like construction? Different,
No, this
This
is,
is one section's being deleted. We used to have borough flags that we charged a fee for. We don't have the flags anymore, so we're just deleting that whole section. The other section is there's a fee when someone applies for a permit to replace their sidewalks and curbs. So we're just amending that to take the fee out so we can set the fee by resolution at a future meeting. And then the other one is the dumpster permits, is changing the fee on the dumpster permits.
now, what,
which that will also point to a resolution, correct?
I think that one's actually listed in the
yeah,
ordinance.
that's not what
And the other one is the recreation fees. There's actually nothing anywhere that says what recreation fees are, so we'll be setting that by resolution as well.
But I mean, do you, for the fees that mayor and council set, that's for each individual project?
Well, it would be, for instance, you get a set fee for basketball. That would cover basketball for whatever season. And the next season, if we were running a shortfall, let's say, maybe you have to bump the fees up $5 or $10.
All right, but at some point, we'll have people know what the fees are.
Yes, but
We're not just taking them out and everything.
No, once this ordinance is adopted, then we'll have a resolution before you with the new proposed fees for you to vote on.
right. So the idea is first you change your ordinance, then you institute the resolution, because the resolution is moot without having an ordinance pointing towards it.
All right. And the other question I have is doubling the dumpster fees. Now, what dumpsters are they for? Construction, big construction?
These are the ones, yeah,
That you'd see throughout town on people's properties or in the street when they're doing construction. It's for dumpsters and pods.
Okay, not just for regular, commercial,
No, this is
businesses
just
that
the
have the regular
temporary
dumpsters.
dumpsters and pods when you're, cleaning out your house. or
Right, this is
doing
for-
construction.
This is for one if you need a permit, right, versus a restaurant may have a dumpster, but they don't have
They don't get a
permit for it.
No.
But if you're,
Not required for a permit. Okay.
right, if you're renovating your house and you have a dumpster and it's in the front of the house, it's in the street, then yeah, you you get charged for that, and there's only a certain amount of time you can have it there.
Well, the fee, it's for 10 days. The fee's
10 days.
for 10 days.
You have to renew it.
So everybody that has a construction project going on, as many dumpsters as you have, you need a permit for everyone.
Yes, is there a different charge, different price if it's on your property versus on the street?
No, it's the same charge. The only difference is if the dumpster's only there for 3 days, we waive the fee. It was put in place a couple of years ago to encourage people to, it was one, to give code enforcement an idea of where all the dumpsters are, so that they can monitor them. There was a lot of complaints that people were dumping regular trash in the dumpsters, and they were overflowing and weren't being emptied timely, so this gives them a way to keep track of all of them.
So you pay the fee again after 10 days.
If you need it longer, yes.
So the pods, a lot of construction companies, if you're renovating your house, they're having you store your stuff in a pod, like in your driveway. That can be there for 8 to 10 months. You're saying every 10 days is a new fee?
Yep.
And we're doubling that.
We've only had one that I can recall that actually went that long. It was like a couple months. Usually it's no more than a month that the permits are for. There's not too many that we have to renew them.
You know, let's,
Interesting.
I'm good introducing this, but before we do second reading, I think we should, because I think Councilman Nicolay makes a good point. If you have a pod, it's in your backyard,
It's like your garage.
who's it bothering? Why are we charging people $50 every 10 days for it? You know, if it's in the street,
That's different,
I think it's different.
I think so.
Yeah.
But if it's on your property, particularly if, well,
There should be a time limit, though. I mean, your neighbor is not gonna appreciate you having a pod there for 6 months in your front yard.
Sometimes you can't avoid how long you have to have it.
You can have it.
yeah, but then what, I mean, someone would just take it away and come back the next day? I mean, I guess particularly if it's in the back,
Yeah, if it's in the backyard, fine. If it's in the
Right.
front yard,
I think it's different.
it's different, right? So we should look into it.
All right, so I'll do first reading and intro on this. If we're able to modify it with slightly, then we could do second
I
reading
think
with
a couple of
modifications.
changes would be, you could governing by the power to waive the fee under special circumstances. For example, someone's house burned down, you need something outside. I think that would be a acceptable change between introduction and passage. Amongst
Yeah.
other alternatives.
All right, so let's do first reading introduction. If by chance the changes, if by chance our attorney believes the proposed changes exceed what's allowable, we just don't do second reading on this, and we'll just do first reading introduction at the next council meeting.
Yes, you can reintroduce it. I mean, if you made a medial change like the one I mentioned, then you could probably just go to second reading. Depending on what else you guys come up with, I'll take a look at it, I can let you know.
All right, that makes sense, everybody?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, so I already introduced it. I forget who seconded it. Mark, so.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
Yes.
Next one, I turn back over to Brian.
You do. Okay, first reading and introduction for ordinance 2017-3. This is the ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 19, Traffic, of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Belmar, Section 19-46, handicapped parking spaces. Do I have a second?
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Councilman Walsifer?
Yes.
Councilman McGovern?
April, can you, are these handicapped spaces anywhere, or are these specific
This is a
ones?
specific one, it's actually in the ordinance, and it's on the 600 block of 12th Avenue. I don't know the exact address off the top of my head, but it's in front of a specific house. It was requested by the resident, and the police department did their review and determined that a spot should be placed there, but it is open to anyone that has a handicap sticker, not just that
So it's
person.
not that particular person, they can't say, that's my handicapped spot.
Okay.
How long do the handicapped spots last for? I mean, I'm
It's
sure,
there until we take it out of the ordinance.
is it up to them to, no, let's say the lady on 12th Avenue or a man on 12th Avenue requests a handicap parking space, then they move. That handicap space goes back to just a general parking space?
We would have to act on it.
Yeah, it would stay there until the police department or DPW or somebody realizes that it's no longer being used as a handicap spot and would tell the council to remove it from the ordinance, and then they'll remove the blue lines and everything.
Do you know if we still have handicap parking spaces in town that aren't being used?
I don't know. I know we did delete some
We
last
did.
year or the year before. We did delete a
Oh.
couple.
There was one in front of my neighbor's house, and she passed away, and it was about a year, and it was fun, and then,
And now it's just a general parking space?
yeah.
Okay, as long as we can get it back when it's no longer needed. Answer is yes.
All right, that concludes our ordinances. Next is a public hearing on the Special Improvement District budget. We're gonna have a presentation by members of the city. If the council would like to step off the dais with me and watch their presentation. Just name, address for the record.
Sal Marquesi, President.
You are doing something.
Yes, yes.
Wait. Are you gonna do that now?
No, I was gonna speak for it.
All right, council, sorry, come back up.
Oh, gonna go back in.
Except for a councilman. Sorry, I gotta go back up.
Okay, Mayor Dark, go back up.
Then we're just,
Councilman Anyway, okay,
Yes, sir.
this is our fifth year, and we
What year?
presented all of you.
What year was this? No. What year?
Fifth.
Fifth year.
No, fifth.
Fifth.
Yes, so it's going on our sixth. Most of you, actually, you had to receive a booklet about a week ago. I have to say, this is one of our best, well-written books in 5 years. Very self-explanatory. And it explains thoroughly for what our accomplishments for 16 and our goals for the 17. We do have a presentation, a 5-minute presentation on our accomplishments. And it actually, I think, maybe part of the goals for 17, it's a 5-minute presentation.
Now you're gonna do the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, now we're gonna come down. Get up. Oh, yes, great.
Come to our award-winning beaches. Shop on Main Street. Enjoy 5-star dining. Activities and fun for all ages. Stay at our world-renowned inns. Belmar, it's that good.
Technology. Belmar, is that good?
Oh, all I'm saying, just name, address for the record.
Tom Burke, 608 10th Avenue, representing the DVP. Belmar, is that good? That 30-second video produced by the DVP was shown 72 times in 2016 on television, reaching each time a potential of 2.5 million people. But we really don't know how many people have seen the commercial on TV. On our Facebook social media page, we do have some numbers to see the commercial's effectiveness. Those business counters indicated that 283,646 people watched it, and it has had over 600 likes over the past year. Efforts like this seem to have a significant impact, but getting people here is one thing. Some would say we get too many people visiting our community, while others say the video is a great promotion. Okay, maybe we do get enough people in Belmar, and especially in the summer months. But it is a year-round community. From sunrise to sunset, Belmar is the place to be. We in the BBP plan for 2017 to change our emphasis toward promoting more for people to do when they are here in Belmar. Indeed, Belmar is more than a beach. Therefore, this year, we will be focusing on getting people, residents and visitors alike, to invest in our community. We want people to come again and again and other times of the year and spend time experiencing other things we have to offer. Hoping, of course, to spend their money in our shops and restaurants, and not to forget the locals. We want those already who live here to find their shops and businesses having plenty to offer them also. Cruise nights, which the BBP present monthly during the summer months, is good family fun, as is our kite festival, which will be in its third year in 2017. Cruise night has grown in popularity with an average of over 200 vintage vehicles lining Main Street one Wednesday evening per month, May through September. Customers of all ages come to Main Street and see not only the vintage cars, but to see our shops also and look to see what the businesses have to offer. As the size of the population of the event has grown, so has the crowds who look and shop in the central business district. More and more of our stores have found it beneficial to be open for business during cruise nights. With this in mind, in 2017, the BBP plans as a point of emphasis to broaden our efforts in the fringe months. We hope to work much more closely with Belmar Tourism and other borough organizations and departments to help turn those families we have reached with our commercials into becoming repeat visitors and customers and even new residents. In short, getting an investment in Belmar. We want our shops to benefit more from late winter months of February, March through to the end of the year. Belmar is a walkable and bikeable community. Our parking woes can partially be overcome by these alternatives. In 2016, the BBP provided 16 bicycle racks within the Central Business District and promoted the Park It Here campaign. Our plans to continue this, we have plans to continue this in 2017. Here are some of the highlights of how we spent our money in 2016. The booklet presentation we provided you and emailed you last week to go along with going into greater detail on the expenditures and give a comprehensive outline as to how we hope to spend our money that we are requesting for this year's budget. Like the borough's no tax increase philosophy, we too are holding our request at the same level as last year. So, as the video says, Belmar, it is that good. We want to make it even better for those who live here, visit here, shop here. We want people to invest in Belmar and invest in Belmar commerce. For the audience who don't have copies of the booklet, the last slide shows our 2017 budget request, and that's the end of our visual presentation. We now have questions. We're open for questions. Thank you.
Council? All right. Councilman Brady, want to start with you? Any questions, comments, thoughts, opinions?
I want to congratulate the BBP on an excellent presentation, and I think I want to thank Mr. Burke for his outreach to myself and the other members of the council to have a chance to talk about the budget beforehand, see what we thought was some of the things we would like to see from the BBP. I got to tell you, I was surprised. I didn't realize the BBP bought all the Christmas decorations on Main Street. That's amazing. That's outstanding. And I was wondering, the one question I had, I think the budget is really very well presented. I think you're very well organized, and I like that you're not asking for more money. That's great. Have you had any ideas about other things that you would want to put along Main Street? Banners or any other things for any other season? So, I don't know if you feel like that's something necessary. I was wondering what your thoughts would be. Something with the parade, or anything like that.
We have banners for the summer months that we had up last year. We had banners for this winter too, but we had some problems with it. We're planning to work out, hopefully about for next year. One of the things that we want to see an improvement on is the summer decorations. Most people remember we had hanging flower baskets in previous years, and one of the biggest gripes we have ourselves and other people have is that these are plastic flowers and silk plastic. They're artificial flowers, and we want to be moving toward real flowers. And we actually have a meeting tomorrow with Colleen Conley and Sal and myself, and I think Mary Webb is on, and that's going to be one of the topics.
No, that's absolutely, so you would have to address the, like, maintenance and something like that. That's definitely a lot more work than plastic flowers.
Exactly.
But
And
they're
that's,
working.
just as another example, there have been some new meetings merged with some of our retailers, to focus on businesses. And one of the things that came out is to renew people's awareness of some of the grant programs that are available to a business owner as distinct from a property owner. And one good example would be awnings. So if you were to look at maybe a combined program of flowers, that would be containers on the sidewalk, combined with freshening of the awnings, that would complement the new lights that have gone on. The whole idea is to sort of enrich the pedestrian experience,
Sure.
just to continue the fact that it feels good to be here.
That's it for me.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on the grants, because I think that's one of the very important things that the BBP does that our businesses take advantage of. Somebody recently just put up a new awning and forgot, and they were kicking themselves, but it's in her mind for the next time. But yeah, I think the cruise nights are extremely successful, the kite festivals. I think it's a small group of people that work extremely hard to make this a success. I think the communication between the BBP and the businesses this year has been much, much better. I think that you do a lot of free advertising of different things that they're promoting. I know we did the page in the CoStar where everybody could pull their money together and get a discounted ad for the season. So I'm pleased at the progress that the group's made. I think if we have a little bit more interaction with the businesses, I know we had several attend one meeting, which I thought was great, and share some ideas. If we could have more meetings with at least 3 or 4 businesses, I think that would be key.
Well, to that point, as a result of the meetings that we had in the fall, we now have a standing commitment for a business owners meeting on Monday morning, a week before our monthly board meeting. And it's held at a local business in town, and we have a liaison from the business community and as well as a liaison from the board. And we specifically scheduled it to be a week ahead. So if there were an opportunity to take action right away, we didn't have any gap. So we're mobilizing. More businesses are coming forward to participate. We saw that with the Main Street experience. That generated, I think, a broader awareness of some of the other businesses. How do we get to do things? We made it very clear we want to co-fund anything that the business community comes up with, as long as it is shown to be beneficial, and equitable.
Thank you.
Council President McGovern, any questions from you?
Yeah, I just, I have a couple questions for Tom and Gail. Last year, I voted for it because I thought you did such a great job in 2015. And this program, great program, and great job. You've got to be working terribly hard, and I certainly appreciate that. But I do have some questions. Going over your branding and marketing budget, you have for $28,650. I see that as, a lot of that is duplication as to what the tourism does. And I think you can probably save some money not to do the same work that tourism. I see tourism as their responsibility is to get the people into town. Okay? and they do a good job of getting them into town. I see the BBP as, you want to keep the people coming back that got here first. And then, the budget for business development is only $31,000, you know, for when you provide businesses with, let's say, for a new front of their building, new facade, or encourage new businesses to come to town by giving them a loan to get some lower rents in the beginning when they first get here. I'm sure it's tough for some of these new businesses to get started in Belmar until they get noticed and still have to pay the rent. The visual improvement, you have $33,000, which is more than the business development of for the people's facades or lower rents. Because I see that once you get them coming back, it's up to the business to sell themselves, to be successful. And I think people like going into a nice looking store, facade and everything like that, as opposed to seeing banners on the street. I don't think the people coming into town really notice the fake flowers, you know. Personally, and I appreciate how hard you work, I would like to see you reallocate your money for branding and marketing that you duplicate with tourism. And the visual improvement, I'd like to see some of that money go back into business development. I'd like to see you greatly increase your business development budget so that the businesses can spruce up their store. And you know, I know the car shows that you have, they're great. You have them once a month, and you've been doing it for a couple of years. Sometimes they're the same cars, and you've been to one, you've been to a couple of them. Dirk, I'd like to see you get antique bicycles. There's a section to get antique bicycles there with the cars. You ever get people from Belmar when they have horses? You can get some horses in town, but make that cruise night a little bit more comprehensive. You know, other things of interest besides just cars, which is nice. But we've been doing it for a while. So that's the way I see it. Your budget, $133,000 is a lot of money. So in 2 years, last year and this year, that's $250,000. Walking down Main Street, do I see a $250,000 improvement?
No.
I don't think I do. You know, so personally, I'd like to see the buildings, the rents be a little bit less expensive for the new business people that you're encouraging to come in. And those people that have been here for a while and need a new awning, a new window display, something like that, you get a loan from you with that money. So, otherwise, you know, I can't thank you enough for the hard work you're doing.
No, I'd echo the sentiment as well as far as the type of job that you guys are doing, particularly, you know, this is, as Sal has said, this is the 5th year, or I guess 6th year now, going into the 6th year. And, you know, Belmar doesn't have a Chamber of Commerce. It used to, it had a very good one, and it was run into the ground. If you look at other towns that are similar to us, you know, they have strong chambers of commerce. The other town that's close to us that has a very successful SID is Spring Lake. But they double that effort on behalf of their business owners because they do have a strong chamber of commerce. You know, we mentioned this before, and I think all members of the governing body would be happy to support if there was some type of reconstitution of a chamber of commerce. It may be difficult in these times because people are going to look at it and say, well, I'm already paying the SID assessment. Now you want to hit me up for another $100 on top of that. And I think it's a little short-sighted because of how much more a Chamber of Commerce can do than just the city itself. But, you know, I think for $133,800, you know, it's nice to see the business community, you know, somewhat governing itself through this process. That's $133,800 a year that does not come out of the taxpayers, the property taxpayers in Belmar for our Main Street, and there's definitely value. If you're a resident in Belmar, there's value to having an attractive, vibrant Main Street. You know, you can live in other towns in this county, and I've been to all of them at this point, and you know, they have a highway for a Main Street, whether it's something like Route 9 or Route 35. We're pretty unique in that we have a Main Street and a marina that's not far from it, a beach that's at least biking, if not walking distance. So I appreciate what you guys have done. I do believe there'll be a point, and I hope there comes a point when we don't need a sit anymore. I don't think we're at that point. I don't think we're all that close to being at that point. But this is something that certainly should not live on in perpetuity. And I do want to compliment and thank Councilwoman Nicolet's leadership. She's the council liaison to the SID, has been for these past 6 years as well. She is, without a doubt, your best cheerleader in town, as she's a cheerleader for all the businesses. So again, thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions. You know, I've been in contact with Mr. Burke and also Sal. I'm not sure, Dirk, did you have any comments you wanted to make? Because we're going to open this up for public comment and questions as well.
I never miss a good opportunity to shut up.
Can we put that up? All right, so at this point, I'll open it up for public comments. You want to make a public comment, Sal, or no?
No, I just want to,
Yes, well, you can't say no and then start talking, so.
yes, I do. As far as Brian McCuffin's comment about cruise night, if you see our posters, it does include bikes. Doing it for 4 years, the bikes don't mix well with cars. They won't come. So we try to encourage bikers to come.
Wait, when you say bikes, you mean motorcycles?
Yes.
Yeah, I meant bicycles.
Bicycles. Sorry.
And unicycles.
Yeah, not running around.
Yeah.
Just name and address for the record.
Yeah, well, I couldn't resist. Brian, and thank you very much for...
Name and address for the record.
Name and address is Dirk Reitzman, and the address is, I own the building on the 15th and Main Street.
Beautiful, thank you.
Your comments are very well taken, and it is something that we've been very concerned about. The look of Main Street is something that's very important to us because it is the first impression that shoppers and people coming to town are going to get. Some of the plans that we have this year are to augment DPW's efforts to clean the street up. There's a lot of talk about real flowers instead of fake flowers. We put the fake flowers in because we didn't have any money, the town had no money, and the place looked like not so good. So we went the cheapest way that we could for the longest period of time. That's why the fake flowers, nobody wanted them. We all prefer real flowers, but they have to be water. But we're to a point now where I think that we can work a deal so that we can get to water. And, you know, those are the kinds of things and then your comments about the Chamber of Commerce. We are now able to absorb an active quasi-Chamber of Commerce that's funded. That's a big difference. The people that are in the Retail Merchants Association that's been formed have agreed to come along with us so that we can supplement some of their ideas. So that organization is going to be incredibly more successful because of the energy that they're going to put into it. So we've all got a real good win situation as far as that's concerned. I think that most of us that are here are pretty excited about the work that those people are going to be able to get accomplished in promoting their businesses. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment on the SID, how do we phrase this? Special improvement budget and assessment role. Seeing none, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the special improvement district budget.
Second?
All in favor?
I will at this time move the resolution approving the calendar year 2017 special improvement district budget and assessment role.
I'll second.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman Nicolay?
Yes.
Mayor Doherty?
Yes.
Councilman Montgomery?
You know, I know you're gonna spend the money very well, because you're all great people. But I'm gonna hold off, hoping that next year, your budget for the business development is quite a bit more than the branding and the visual improvement. Okay, I'd like to see it go in that direction. So I am gonna vote no.
All right, thank you very much for your presentation, and best of luck this year. And I do like the idea of horses. What if we brought, well, you know, we had Clydesdales, right?
Oh,
The
they're great.
Clydesdales were on Ocean Avenue, stopping at various bars. So maybe we can have horses down Main Street. We'll have to have front loaders for that day. So thank you very much.
Matt, let's just make this one announcement. I was foolish enough. During my commissioner's report, I should have mentioned that the Belmar Tourism Commission sponsored the Shop Local for the Holidays contest.
Oh, yeah, we forgot to mention this.
We forgot to mention. Blame's on me. The beach badges are awarded to the 3 individuals who submitted the most receipts from different businesses between November 24th and December 24th, 2016. The winners are Jackie DeRouge of 1827 Fernwood Avenue.
Thanks.
Second place, Wendy and Steve Baker, 601 Ocean Avenue. And our winner, with 51 different receipts, Christine Wauer of 309th Avenue. That's Gladys Meckia's daughter.
Ah, very well. So they're all getting beach badges.
Beach
right?
badges, yes, from the tourism, for shopping local, all during the holiday season.
Excellent. All right, so that concludes, sorry. That's the city budget. So next is public session. Public session is very simple. Raise your hand, wait to be called on, come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and then tell us what's on your mind. Yes, sir.
I got this first, Michael Hurst of basketball. George Cromatos, 111 3rd Avenue. I was coming from the meeting in December to wish Travis Blackburn the best, and we had a first aid call, so I didn't make that meeting. But I came today to just say, nice to have you up there, Mark, and hope you guys all work with you.
Thanks, George. George, up for the raise. Just get in. See no other hands for public session. I'll make a motion to close. Oh, yes, sir. Councilman Nicolay has to excuse herself for her daughter's basketball game. So we'll still have a quorum, correct, Counselor? So we're still in shape.
Thank you.
Wish her the best.
All my questions were directed to the councilwoman, so this is completely.
Tell them to hang out the rim this time.
Charles Hoffman, 521 8th Avenue. I've lived all over the country, and I moved to Belmar last year. And I can unequivocally say it's the greatest place on the planet to live. So I applaud all the people on the dais and our leadership team as well. That being said, I'm reminded by Teddy Roosevelt, who said it's not only our right to question our political leadership, but it's our responsibility. So I wanted to bring an issue about, in front of the group here, about 8th Avenue. There's a stop sign next to the park, and it's kind of a pseudo stop sign. There's not really a red sign there, and it's half faded. So basically what I see is a lot of people, some people stop, and some people don't, and some pedestrians think people are gonna stop, and some pedestrians don't. And I probably wouldn't be so nervous about it, but it's next to a park. So my thought is, weather's gonna get nice, and people are just real confused about it. I brought some pictures of it as well. Am I allowed to present it? Or?
Yes, yes, please.
So what I asked for tonight is just maybe the police chief and, director of DPW can just kind of take a look at it. I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't know if it's safer to put a stop sign there, to not. But I do know, having run by it a million times, that it's sort of a stop sign and it's definitely not working. So I was just hoping we could just get some eyeballs on it.
You know, Matt, I drive by that all the time. There's some conditions, you can't see it because we've painted over, okay, with the black paint, but the black paint wears off. And through my mind, and I'm not an engineer, if we paint black over it, like the street is black, it's gonna wear off again. I'm thinking that if we paint it white and make it a block so that you can't see the STOP in white, make one block, let it dry, and then paint over it with black. Then you're not gonna be able to see the letters when it starts to fade.
Maybe you see a gray square.
You might see a gray square and not see it. Because there are conditions, I come down and the person in front of me stops, and I'm saying, you know, I know, but they do see stop. So that's, maybe the engineer can come up with a great point.
Yeah, I mean, this was put in there,
There was a stop sign there, right?
there was a stop sign there,
And
this
there's
is
still a
going
post,
back
which
to
I think makes things a
2000.
little more confusing. People see the post, not the sign.
This is when Mark Walser was on the police department, so I would blame him. And he was in charge of traffic. No, you make a great point. There was a stop sign put in there, I think it was the same time that roundabout, which isn't really round, it's more of a rectangular roundabout, was installed, and the idea was to make it safer, particularly for people crossing 8th Avenue. But we got so much pushback from residents who live on 8th Avenue between C Street and Ocean Avenue, because they had the rectangular roundabout by the funeral home, and then they came, there was a stop sign that was never there before, so,
There was almost a stop sign at every block, because there's a stop sign at D Street,
Yeah.
one at D,
B.
B, and then when it was at C, we had all the residents really complaining about it, so that one was eliminated. I know it's a problem, because I go down 8th Avenue to see that where it occurred.
So, and real fast, so that it's this shorter line with the stop, but this line remains, correct?
Yeah,
That's,
close.
okay.
That's a crosswalk.
So I think you raise a valid point, and and this is just off the top of my head, I'm not an engineer either, but, what Council President McGovern, maybe something like that came up. The one thing I notice when I see it is at night. Like, I guess it's reflective paint, so it catches it more at night. Mike is literally itching to say something.
May I suggest?
Yes, sir.
I do live on 7th Avenue. I do see people stopping there a lot. The gentleman is absolutely correct. They don't know what it is. Brian is absolutely correct. By putting down the white, you would take away the stop. However, as Mark knows, when you put down the white, it's a stop bar. So it means the same thing as stop, so it may or may not help that. I think I should use a tool that you guys gave me last year. I can mill it up an inch down, put down blacktop, and it will never come back again.
But will the mill be STOP, like, will it still look like stop?
I can put down vote for Matt, whatever you want.
My camel's getting a raise. Just kidding. So you would mill,
I'll mill out the stop and just put down blacktop, and then I'll never be there again.
There you go. That works. That works.
that
See,
seems to
your
work.
first time coming to the microphone, you got something done.
Thank you.